it going? It's Jessie from Jessie Marie Does Stuff here on FlossTube. I am coming to you on this Saturday, May 1st, 2021 with my next update video. I am here for an update video. So, real quick, if you watched my Stitch Mania plans video that I posted earlier this week, in that video I told you that I was filming this update that day. And I did. I filmed this update that day. And I hated it. I didn't like it. I forgot half the things I was going to say. I didn't like it. And so I decided to scrap it and start over. And so here we are today. I am filming today. It's the weekend. Danny is home. He's got baby girl in the other room. The house that we're in now is... there's much more space between my filming spot, my stitchy spot, and the den living room. There's a lot of space in between us. So he's over there watching the draft, watching the NFL football draft with baby girl. So you might hear some coos and some bells from her playmat, but yeah, she's over there. I am introducing Baby Does Stuff in this video, but that's going to be at the end of the video. So if you ain't here for that, you can skip that part. But I'm going to be doing life updates at the end of the video and also introducing her. So just thought I would put that out here right at the beginning. What I should have done was welcome everybody, both returning and new subscribers, new viewers. Thank you for coming to spend some time with me. If you're new, I hope you find reason to stick around. On this channel, I talk mostly about cross-stitch, but I do talk about books and knitting. I see some books behind me, as and when it pertains. Today I'm just doing cross-stitch because I've barely knit and I've read one book, but I don't really feel like talking about it, so we're just going to do cross-stitch today. I've got quite a bit to update you on as far as the cross-stitch is concerned. And then I also talk about life stuff because that's me. I like to tell you about what's going on in my real world, my not stitchy world. So let's talk about the things that I actually have on the agenda today. I'm going to show you everything that I have worked on this year, in the year 2021, so the last 4 months. But that only amounts to 7 projects. And I'm also going to be talking about kind of my thought process for coming into 2021, sort of what my plan was and mostly still is. I'm going to talk about very briefly about plans, but since I just did the Stitch Mania plans, you kind of have the best idea of what May is going to look like, but I have some adjustments to talk over, and then I'm going to show you a couple of things that I have received in the mail, but to be honest, I haven't got a whole lot. I haven't done a whole lot of purchasing, and a lot of what has come in has been like my fabric and threads of the month. And y'all don't need to see that because it's all old and it's all put away anyway. So there is that. And then after that, I'm going to do a life update where I catch you up on everything that happened since my last update mid-December. Yeah, long time ago. So let's go ahead and get started. And we're going to start talking about some works in progress, some projects that I have worked on over the last few months. And we're going to start off with the big one. So this will come as no surprise to anybody. In This Moment by Heaven and Earth Designs, artwork by Jeremiah Kettner. This was the first project that I worked on in 2021. It was how I started my year. And it is my full coverage focus for the year. It is the project that I am using for the FC Finish Challenge 2021, which was started by the Stitchketeers, but then they sort of invited us all to join. So this is what I'm working on towards that. It's what I use for absolutely everything in Full Coverage Fanatics. And I'm going to get this done this year. when I started the year, I had 12 pages, 65-ish thousand stitches left to do. And by golly, I'm going to get this thing done. If I don't do anything else, this is going to get finished. So enough showing that. I worked on this today. I'm working on it today. So it's not all rolled out. So when I insert my before and afters, you're going to see where I started at the beginning of the year and where I was at the point when I finished the last page that I finished, which I think was 39, page 39. So moving forward, my before and afters will start from this point here where I'm at today. But I'm not unrolling it. I'm in a really good spot with it. It's in the right spot where the tension is good, so I'm not doing that. But let me go ahead and show it to you. It's on my big old Millennium frame. And we're at this point again. So yeah, I'll just pan across and get to the correct side so that y'all can see where I'm at. I am currently working on pages 27 and 28. I'm working on them together, so at the same time. I had my second shot, so my left arm is a little bit but it's all right. So anyway, so yeah, I am working on pages 27 and 28. My next diagonal, I will hit the right side. Yes, the right side of the page. And yeah, I'm just working down. So on Instagram, as I've posted this recently, several people are asking the question, where did your blocks go? Are you not doing that anymore? Did you change your method? And the long story short is that yes and no. So I am continuing with the blocks. However, the way that this one is coming together, the colors are flowing down the diagonal just so nicely that I'm just kind of following them where they go. So I'm still kind of maintaining the blocks, but the edges of the blocks is a little bit more fluid than normal. So that's why it looks like that. I have just when I finished stitching this morning, I was just about to finish a color. I was about to finish white. I have 5 stitches left of white, and I was trying to get it finished before I stopped stitching this morning. But I don't dictate my schedule anymore. I have a small boss, and she's intense. She's pretty demanding sometimes. So anyway, so I have 5 stitches left of white. The vast majority of this wing and of this swan is in 3756. So that's what that white looking color is. And 3747 is the pale purple. I'm basically just coloring with those 2 colors for the vast majority of this section of the wing. So I am in here. And I find it interesting. So this other swan, it was blue in that section. It was more blue than white. You see that? The blues and purples in there? Well, the threads are in the way. I find that interesting. So anyway, so that's where I'm at. I'm at 86, almost 87% complete. I am a month ahead on my stitches. So that's kind of cool. At the beginning of the year, I needed to do 5,282 stitches a month in order to see this finished by the end of the year. And I am now a full month ahead. So if I continue at that pace, then I'll finish in November. If I skip a month, it's okay because I'm ahead of the game. I'm ahead of the game by 22 stitches. So I'm not very far ahead, but a little bit nonetheless. conveniently enough, I had 12 pages at the beginning of the year, and so I would essentially need a page per month. And at the end of March, I had 4 pages done, so I was ahead. I didn't get any page finishes in April because this was my page situation. It takes a little bit longer to get a page finish when I'm working in multiple pages at the same time. But I think that by the end of May, I'm going to have both of those pages done. And that's probably it. Because my goal for May is, I'm hoping for 7,500 stitches on this month. In addition to my previously aforementioned mania plans. But I will talk about plans towards the end of the whips. So that is that. What was the other thing I wanted to tell you about this? 21 and 21. That is a challenge hosted by Full Coverage Fanatics. I'm done with that one. I completed that challenge in March, I think. Yep, in March. And I thought about doing it again because I could essentially get 3 of those in this project. But I kind of like checking that off and being done with it. So even though I'm going to get multiples of it, it's just, I don't know, just that mental satisfaction of ticking off the to-do list, so to speak. I have 27 colors complete, which is really cool. 28 is coming as soon as I get back to stitching, hopefully this evening, we'll see. Yeah, just zooming right along and loving it. I'm so enjoying this. Some of y'all look at me like I'm crazy because I so enjoy the full coverage stitching and it's comfort stitching and it's fast. But because I've been working on this so consistently for the last few years, I pretty much know the colors. I know that I don't need to look at a symbol list or reference any sort of key because I know what the colors are. And the way in particular how this is stitching up currently, it's just coloring. I mean, it's really easy stitching. So it's going very fast. I suppose I can talk about this now. I can talk about sort of my routine currently that allows me to stitch as much as I have, even though I have a 3.5-month-old. So currently, baby girl's bedtime is the same time as us. She goes to bed at the same time we do. And she does pretty good at night. She sleeps pretty good. The occasional wake up in the middle of the night, but it's never like a long-term thing. It's like she's got startled, or she had a bad dream, or she had a good dream, or she tried to get herself turned and woke herself up, kind of a thing. It's not, she doesn't wake up in the middle of the night for any feedings or anything like that. However, because she's going to bed at the same time as us, which is usually around 11:30, midnight, she still likes to sleep for about 12 hours. And so when we get up at around 7 in the morning, I get her up, I feed her, and then I put her back down. And I go have my coffee and stitch. And she goes back to sleep for another 2.5 to 3 hours, usually. She's still 3.5 months old, so nothing is predictable and nothing is set in stone here. But usually I get 2.5 to 3 hours every morning to myself. And Danny goes off to work, so I have my coffee and I stitch, and I have breakfast, and I kind of get the day going for myself. And I usually get in a shower before she wakes up, which is kind of remarkable. The reason that she's going to bed at the same time as us is that the way that our room is set up, the bassinet is right next to the bathroom door. It's right next to it. And so if I was to put her down at 8, and then we come up and try to get ready for bed, I'm taking my contacts out, brushing teeth, all that jazz, it's going to wake her up. So currently this is the scenario that works for us. She's going to move to her crib in her room in the next few months, and so things will change, and my availability for stitching is going to change. But currently that's the thing. Then when Danny comes home from work, he usually gives her a bottle feeding, and I stitch for a little bit in the evenings because he wants some time with her. And so I usually have a little bit of stitching then too. So I soak up the minutes that I have. It used to be that I would scoff if I had 20 minutes to stitch. I wouldn't do it, because back then it didn't seem like it was worth it. But those 20 minutes are precious, and so I take advantage if I've got some time. So that is kind of what's been allowing me to stitch as much as I have these last few months. Okay, that tangent aside, let's keep going with the works in progress. Up next is a finish. So let me show it to you, and then I'll talk about all of the things. Here it is, Flower of the Month, all finished up. Okay, this is Flower of the Month by Ellen Moore-Stroh. I stitched it on 32 count Belfast in cream from Zweigart. I started this project in 2015, which is going to be a theme, by the way. And I finished it April 18th, I think. April 18th? Yeah, stitching May's birthday. So yeah. Ugh, love it, right? What else? What are the things that I wanted to say? These charts are free. This is a free design series. It was a stitch along, I think, in 2010, and Ellen Moore-Stroh made them available for free. I will link it in the description box below. I changed nothing. I stitched everything in the called for threads. I guess I changed some things. They are individual blocks, and I just kind of smooshed them together in the 4 rows. I also inserted the names, so that's not something that is done in the charts themselves. I inserted the names of the flowers into that border, into that bottom border of each of them, and I used the darkest color from the petals of the flowers. So not the greens, but the darkest from the petals. And also not from the center of the flowers. So for instance, calendula, I'm not entirely sure how to say that. The center is much darker than the petals, even though it's still an orange. I still used that deepest orange from the actual flowers. But I changed no colors, and it was wonderful to stitch. It was really a lot of fun to stitch. The details that she achieved with 10 to 15 colors on average, and usually only 4 or 5 in the petals themselves, remarkable the detail. I think my favorite is June's Wild Rose, but I also really like the way August Gladiolus turned out, especially with those little bees. So cute, so pretty. And of course the purple aster. I love that. I didn't know that aster buds kind of look like thistles a little bit. That's kind of interesting. Yeah, this was a lot of fun. I just watched Jemima's video, and most of my FlossTube watching is on the big screen when baby girl is taking a nap in the middle of the day in my arms. And so I don't usually get to comment on videos, but I did want to show you this, Jemima, if you're watching. The difference between those pinks in the sweet pea, hardly visible. It's so hard to see that there are multiple shades there. I was really disappointed with the sweet pea. Not really disappointed, that's probably too harsh, but with the amount of detail and movement that you got with the first 3, specifically the first 2, because the third, the jonquils have backstitch, but the movement and shading is so exquisite for the first 2, and then this one left a little bit to be desired for the sweet pea. So I totally get what you're saying, just keep with it. So yeah, what else did I want to say? I think I think it was 54 total stitching days with this one. Now, my records were not great. For quite a few years there, I wasn't keeping track of a whole lot of things. I'm not even sure exactly what day I started this. But I estimate 4.5 days per flower, so 54 days, give or take. Some of them took 3, some of them took more than 4 days, some of them took, yeah. So it's an estimate. I am asked all the time where I got this font that I used for the flower names. I just used a Google image search for like free cursive backstitch font or something like that, and it popped up. And that's what I used for that. I did change the L. So I did the charted L for violets, but when I got down here to Lily of the Valley, that's a lot of L's, and that L looked funky. So I changed the L to just a straight up and down. You can see that there, how it looks different than that one that's got the... So there's that. Okay, so finishes this year. It's just not going to be a thing. My focus projects this year are all pretty big. I'm looking over here as if that's going to show me, but I already know what they are. Anyway, they're big. They're big pieces. I mean, that's kind of my whips to begin with. So I'm not going to get a whole lot of finishes this year. This project was called for WhipGo in January. And in January, I got 2 days into the piece. And then I switched, and then baby girl was born, and then I didn't work on it again for a while. We get to the end of March, and at the end of March, I was like, I should go back and work on some past WhipGo projects that I haven't quite caught up on. And so I went back to this one at the end of March, and I worked on it for a few days and got the gladiolus done, and the aster started. And then it got called for April, and it got called for both blocks in April. And I was like, okay, so I guess we're going to try to finish this, because that would be 10 days, which would get me the aster and probably October finished. I'm just going to call it October. So I was like, maybe I should just work on this until it's finished. And I've been feeling that itch to finish something. I haven't had a legitimate finish since September. Like I was in the mood for a finish, and the WhipGo stars aligned with that feeling. So I just decided to focus on it in April to get it done. And so I busted out those last 4 flowers. In January, I don't think I mentioned this. I was halfway through the July block, so that's where I started from at the beginning of the year. So, finish number 1 for 2021. Probably one of maybe 2 or 3, if I'm lucky. I had 4 finishes last year, and I was disappointed, and I'm going to have fewer this year, and I'm cool with it. Like, I'm good. So, there is that. I'm a little sad that this is finished. A little sad. So I'll just show it one more time. I should have mentioned previously that none of these are in any particular order. No. No. So the next project I have to show you is August Quilt by Paula Vaughan. So I guess January WhipGo, because this was a WhipGo piece in January. This is from the book Quilts for All Seasons. I ripped my book up, and this is one of my focus pieces for the year. So I worked on this project just before baby girl was born, and this was the first thing I worked on after she was born, so there are some memories in here. This is also on a 32 count Belfast in cream from Zweigart, and I got a really good amount of stitching done. on this piece. So let me show you what I've got done here, and then I'll talk about the things that I've done, if I can remember back that far. So I know that I filled in the roses here. I think I did this flower and flower pot. I think so. And I know that I've done basically all of this here this year. Oh, it's gorgeous, isn't it? This should so not be my style. This should so not be my thing. But I just love these designs. I love them. I love their complexity. I love all the quarter stitches. I love the shading. I really, really enjoy this. So I'll just bring it in close so that you can see. That quilt is mostly white or shades of off-white. So just bring it in close so you can see it. I love stitching on these. I love the process of it. It's just so much fun. I don't like that the charts are color charts. And I don't like the symbols that they used for these charts, but it's okay. Working through it. So yeah, this got pulled for January WIPCO, and I love it. I love it a lot. This was also pulled for May WIPCO. And we'll talk about May WIPCO and how that's going to work when I get to plans. But so that is August quilt. Really, really love that one. For March WIPCO, November quilt was called. I think March or February. Now I don't know which. Doesn't matter. Makes no difference. So this is November quilt. And this is the whole reason that I had to get this book. This is the whole reason that I started stitching any of these. I love this one, obviously. I love fall, as most of us do, and as you all know about me. Believe it or not, this is also on 32 count Belfast in cream from Zweigart, but I think this is the last one like that. Yeah, it is. And so here's where I am with November. I think I worked on this for 5 days. My WIPCO goals for all of my projects are 5 days or 1,500 stitches, whichever comes first. So yeah. I think that when I started working on this, I didn't have any of the leaves started. None of the leaves were started. I had this chunk of background and I had the border of the quilt done. And some of this half stitch sky up here. But yeah, I was working on this. Let's see if I can bring it in close enough so you can see all those quarter stitches. Particularly the border in the quilt. That brown border. Lots and lots of quarter stitches. I love it. It makes me happy seeing all those quarter stitches. Yeah, it's really a lot of fun to stitch. What else did I want to say about this? I think that's it. These are 2 of my 3 Paula Vaughns currently on the go. The third probably won't see this year. But that's okay. So there's that. This one is smaller than August, like the stitch count is smaller. So if I'm going to finish one of them, it would probably be this one sooner than later. Next, zipping right through these, huh? Next is my Mirabilia focus for the year, for the last couple of years actually, but anyway. So this is the Raven Queen by Mirabilia. And I said at the end of last year that one of my goals for this year was In This Moment and the other was Raven Queen. And now I don't know if Raven Queen's going to happen. Because I had built in time to work on Raven Queen in my planned rotation. And just forget a rotation. Forget a rotation. no time for that. So if I get some good work into this and get it finished up next year, cool. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Anyway, so this is Raven Queen by Mirabilia, and this was a February or March whip go. I can't remember which. So I did work on it in the last few months, just the once. The fabric is a 32 count Belfast in Haunted by Picture This Plus, and arm's getting a little stiff. Here is where I am up to. Still don't know if it's all going to match up. Still don't know the answer to that question. When I worked on this most recently, I finished up the raven and the column over here, and then I finished up the skin of her neck chest line, and also got started on her arms a little bit. So the skin it's coming. I really just have the arms left to do. I almost said wings. But yeah, just her arms left to do. I am way far behind on my goal. I think that by this point I was supposed to be like here, and I'm not, obviously. But that's okay. It's all right. You know, it's tough because I still have quite a bit left to do, but then I look and I see all of that done. So I don't know. We'll see when it comes up for whip go again and I work on it some more. Yeah, we'll see. We shall see. Oh, so good. I am using most of the called fors. I'm using the called for DMCs. The exception is black. I subbed for Anchor Black. I like that inky coverage. The metallics, I subbed Krynic out and put in Petite Treasure Braid equivalents. They're not exact, but they're close. And then the beads, I will do Delicas, because I just like Delicas. Especially for a Picture This Plus 32 count linen. Those Mill Hill beads are going to get tight fast. So I'm really going to want those Delicas for this. What else? Oh, the skin, I stitched over one over one. That's not the way it's charted, but that's how I like to do things with my Pretty Lady projects. And I will stress the fact that it is my preference, but it's not easy. It's 4 times the amount of work, and it's tinier stitches, so just putting that out there, it's by no means faster. I just like the way it looks. I like the effect of it. So that is my Raven Queen. Looking very strange. I really need to connect to see if I'm lined up right. Gosh, I really hope I am. I really, really, really do. So there is that. Up next, we have the project that I have worked on the least, but it was so good to work on it. It was so good to work on it. It is living in this bag from the Pineapple House, Cassie. I love this project bag. I love the little elephants. So cute. And in here is my elephants. So this is from Jayne Netley-Mayhew. You can find this in the Cross Stitch Safari book. I tore mine out because it's just so difficult to stitch from a book. And so I tore mine out so that I could work on it. So yeah, that is the elephants. This cover is a little bit chopped off. It goes a little bit further out than that. And this, I am working on a 28 count linen from Fabric Flare, and the color is Aqua. Fabric Flare fabrics are modeled, they're printed on the front and then they're plain on the back. So there is a front and a back on these fabrics. And so here's where I am up to currently. The last time I worked on this was in December of 2018. The last time that I really worked on it was January of 2017. It has been a fantastically long time since I really put some work into this. Before I worked on it, end of February, beginning of March. And when I worked on it then, I managed the grasses over here. So this section is completely done. And then I kind of started working the grasses over this way. There's a fair few colors in there. 7 or 8 colors, I think, all told. Oh, it's so good to work on this. I love this piece and I so enjoy working on it. This has not been called for WIPGO yet. So I still have 3 spaces with this in it for WIPGO. So there is still work to be done. Okay, these next 2 pieces that I have to show you, I haven't worked on them yet this year. However, they are the last 2 pieces in my focuses for the year 2021. So let me just go ahead and show you these to show you where I'm starting from. So the first is Glory of Autumn by Dimensions. And this was a kit. I subbed out the fabric for a 28 count antique white cashel linen. But I'm using the kit flosses. And so I'll just show this to you really briefly just to show you where I'm starting from. I'll pull that thread. I saw that Amanda finished hers and I would really like to join her in that, but I've got a long ways to go yet on this one. This one also has not yet been called for WIPGO, and so another 3 blocks. This will come up this year. And the last one is CloudsFactory's Haunted House. So that's what this will look like finished. This is on a 32 count Belfast in Umbriel by Under the Sea Fabrics. One of my very first fabrics of the month. And that is where I am with this one. So my 2021 focus projects are all of the pieces that I still have remaining that I started in 2015. And that comprises a total of 8 projects. So repeated each 3 times on my WIPGO board, I have filled a WIPGO board. So that's why I say that both Elephants and Glory of Autumn still have 3 blocks left, because each one is represented 3 times. Haunted House here was called in February for WIPGO and also in May, and I haven't worked on it yet. I tried to stitch, I put this on a Q-snap and tried to stitch in our den, but it's a little dark in there, just with where the sun hits, it's dark in that room. So I wasn't able to stitch in there just yet until we get some lights, some better lights in there, and I get something to hold the Q-snap for me. So I haven't stitched on that yet, but it's coming. So let me go ahead and explain that really quickly before I show you one more project. So with WIPGO in May, I don't think I'm going to be working on WIPGO pieces in May. I think that what I'm going to do is work on In This Moment every day, try to work on it every day, and perhaps put it on a Q-snap for the days that I'm working on my Mania starts. So I am having 3 Mania starts that I know of for certain. There may be a 4th or 5th, but we'll kind of cross that bridge when we get there. But I think I'm going to work on In This Moment every day, along with my Mania starts. Then my 2 WIPGO pieces for May, August Quilt and Haunted House, will roll over to June. And I think in June, I will try to catch up on WIPGO and try to just knock out all of the past WIPGO goals that I haven't met yet. So that's kind of the plan there. We'll see how it goes. I'm a little bit of a I'm a little bit of a fly by the seat of my pants kind of stitcher these days. I'm not really sticking to anything rigid because there's no point, right? There's just no point. So that's kind of the overall plan moving forward. Since I finished Flower of the Month, I am down to 7 focus pieces, and I've kind of toyed with the idea of adding in some of my other whips, because goodness knows I've got plenty. I have 82 works in progress right now. So I have plenty that I could add in to fill in, but I think that I'm just going to stick with those 7 and progressively work my way through those first before I think about adding in focus projects. Now, obviously I'm having some new starts, but my plan with new starts is 2100 stitches for 2021. I can't forget a theme. So any new start that I have, I'm going to try to get 2100 stitches at some point throughout the year. If I don't, not a big deal. That's okay. But it's just kind of a goal that I was thinking about. So y'all know me and the numbers. I like numbers. Okay. One last project that I have worked on this year, and that is a new start. So I made the decision to participate in Stitch Mania and to make a few starts for that. And the stars kind of aligned. I made this decision on or around the same day that Long Dog Samplers released Opening Gambit. And I fell in love with that piece from the very first time I saw it. I just really, really liked it. I really liked it for our game room. So our game room is right there. It's where all of Danny's board games are set up on. He's got a Calyx, and they're all set up in there. I was going to film there, but it's too dark because the sun is on this side of the house now. So it's a little too dark in there right now, but this would be so cool for the game room. I just really thought that it would fit in nicely. A lot of these board games are high strategy, and I make the joke all the time that we should be playing chess, but I'm always playing checkers. Like, I'm not thinking 5 moves ahead. I'm thinking about this move right here. So I'm always playing checkers, and therefore I'm usually losing in these board games. And then Opening Gambit comes out, and it's chess themed, and it's so cool and just really cool looking, right? A whole bunch of people started it like day of release. And so I decided I was going to stitch it for our game room, and I was going to start it on my birthday. So my birthday was last Sunday, April 25th, and so I got it started. I asked Danny what color I should stitch it in, and he said, well, you got to do it in maroon or orange, of course. For Christmas, I got him a poster with like word art of the various types of board games, and it's in maroon writing. So I thought, well, to keep it kind of cohesive, I'm going to do this in maroon. So I'm stitching it using DMC 902, which is as close to Chicago maroon as we're going to get. And I bought a piece of 32 count Belfast in Vintage Country Mocha. I don't know why I had to pause on that, to stitch it on. So I started it on my birthday, and I worked on it for a few days. And I don't have 2100 stitches in it yet. I needed to get back to In This Moment before the end of April. But I put in 3 days. I got 1400 stitches over those 3 days, but monochromatic stitching, y'all. Like, it's pretty fabulous. Am I bummed that I didn't get that castle complete? Yes, I am. That bothers me a little bit. Oh, I wish I got the castle done, at the very least. And you'll have seen a preview at some point during this spiel of what the finished thing will look like. So there is Opening Gambit, and I'm a big fan of this. I really, really like the color combination. I like the way that this is going to look. I hadn't ordered fabric from Fire Poppies before, and that's where I got this from. Super recommend it. Super recommend it. Fire Poppies is so fast. I don't even understand how they can be so quick. But so anyway, that is my opening Gambit, and I love that. And because I've only got 1,400 stitches in, it will still come out again this year, hopefully. So I think that pretty much covers it for the things that I have worked on, as well as some upcoming plans. I kind of talked about May. So I guess we'll go ahead and switch over and talk about some stash acquisitions. It's not a whole lot. Like I said, my of the month things I'm not going to show you. And I don't even think this is everything, but this is the stuff that I just want to show you here. So first thing in haul is something that I got earlier this year. Winds of Autumn by Blackbird Designs. Don't sleep on the Blackbird books. It's a rule. I stick to it. So there are some fabulous things in here. Lots of things that I really, really, really want to stitch. That if I feel like I need something to stitch for Mania, I might pull something from here. I really, really love this one, Spell of the Moon. I love October 31. Yeah, I love this whole book. Let's be real. Let's just call it like it is. Love this whole book. So that's pretty cool. Next, I ordered the Vintage Country Mocha from Fire Poppies, like I said. Can't order one piece of fabric. Cannot travel alone. So I picked up a Quaker Christmas. I am after a Christmas Quaker design. The one that I really want to do is from Stickity van der Vanberg. It's the super long bell pull style. And by super long, I mean nearly 600 stitches tall. 176 by 576, I think is the dimensions of it. It's humongous. I would need a half of 40 count to do this thing. So that's a lot, and I don't have a fat half of 40 count, and so I'm trying to pull some different Christmas Quakers to try to deviate from that, to try to shift my thinking, to get really excited about a style like this, which is still big, but not that big. It's not that tall. This is 320 by 205, so it's not small by any stretch. It's a solid 2 weekends, but yeah, it's not as big as that Stickity one. So we'll see. I have no intentions of starting this anytime soon because I'm still kind of feeling the pull to the bell pull style. So if I start that one or this one, it will be closer to Christmas time. But I have it nonetheless. So there's that. Okay, and the last piece of haul is probably the most exciting of all of it. So I've been thinking with these focus pieces, I'd like them to have them all in nice project bags. I'm searching for a big bottom bag for my full coverage pieces, for my full coverage focus, whatever that is moving forward after in this moment. Something we can talk about later. I would just really like to have my focus projects in nice project bags. So I'm having this thought, and then I hop on Instagram, and I see that Jen, Jasmine Ravenclaw, posted this bag, and a portion of the proceeds were going to charity. And I fell in love with this site, at first sight, in love with this bag here. So I me pleased really quick, and managed to get one, and oh gosh, how precious is it? I just love it. Everybody's holding hands. So there is the back, and this green faux leather. The inside is these cute little hearts. Very cool, and so beautifully made. Unbelievable. And I love this big pocket. Big pocket in the front. So beautiful. This bag is wonderful. If you can get one of her bags, get on that. Treat yourself. This is wonderful. This is really, really special. So Jen, thank you for sharing your amazing work. Love it. Oh, I don't have a project in here yet, but something is going in here soon. I have to decide what. I don't know. But it doesn't matter because I love it. So that is it for the haul. So other than opening Gambit, I don't think I have anything else digital. So I think that's everything. I think that's all of the stitchy stuff. So we're going to switch over here and we're going to talk about some life stuff. And I'm just going to kind of catch you up, the quick and dirty version of what happened the second half of December into early January and since. So if you aren't here for the life stuff, then thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. But otherwise, settle in, grab a cuppa. Let's chat. So, okay, so I filmed on December 18th, and we moved on December 23rd. So, packed up our house and moved over here. And we're still trying to settle in and spread out and get organized, get cleaned up, get organized, get unpacked. I still have some boxes in the office particularly, which will become my filming location once we get it all set up in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, so that was big, making the move. The buyers of our old house closed earlier this week, so that's a crazy feeling that we sold our house this week. The house that Danny and I moved into together, and we had Thor there. We got engaged while we were there. We got married while we lived there. Yeah, it's a lot of memories from that house, and now we're here, and it's been an adjustment, but I think it's a good one. So looking forward to our future here. Then obviously December 25th was Christmas, and we had Zoom Christmas, which is lame, and I am looking forward to that being a thing of the past. I think I said earlier that yesterday we got our second shots. My mom and my brother have been fully vaccinated for 2 weeks now, at least. My mom, I think, has been fully vaccinated for like a month and a half. And so we're looking forward to some in-person celebrations and whatnot. So that was Christmas. December 30th was Danny's birthday, and that was also a pretty low-key celebration. Not a whole lot to do there. And December 31st, we helped Thor cross the Rainbow Bridge. I've been thinking about filming this, and I was wondering if I was going to get emotional, and I guess I am. Yeah, so we put Thor down on December 31st. So I never really talked about it here on the channel, but so last January 2020, Thor got cancer, and we were really fortunate with that cancer. Our vet was able to cut the cancer out, quite literally cut it out, with good clean margins, and virtually like Thor bounced back so fast. And we had a scan in July just to check and see, and no cancer, nothing. And then in the fall, around September, he started having symptoms again. He started coughing. He stopped eating as voraciously, started slowing down. And so at first I thought he was just getting old. That he was getting old because he turned 8 in October. And in early November we had another scan done. and they found 2 masses on his liver. 2 of them. We did just a basic radiology, just a basic scan, and if memory serves, they said that one of them was huge and the other was sizable as well. The prognosis that they gave on the basic report was not good. We knew that the cancer that he had in January is something that could have come back. We didn't know it would come back so fast. We didn't know it would come back so fast. Only in 2020 is your dog going to get cancer twice in 1 year. And with where it was, it wouldn't have been easy to get. It wouldn't have been easy to take out. It would have been a much harder surgery. It would have been a harder recovery. It would have been harder to get this cancer gone. So we decided not to. We decided not to pursue anything for him. I'm sorry, I'm crying. I can't help it. He was my first baby. We decided not to pursue any treatment. We decided not to go to a veterinary oncologist or anything like that. We decided to help him live out whatever time we had left with him, whatever time we had left, that we would live it to the fullest, and we would do everything we could to make him as comfortable as possible. And we were trying really, really, really hard to get him to at least to baby girl's birth, so that, you know, at least they could meet once. But he stopped eating. Gosh, this is all rushing back. He stopped eating. He would not eat his food, and then we started mixing in stuff to try to get him to eat his food, and it would work for a day or two, and then he'd be back to not eating. His last 2 weeks, he ate cheeseburgers. We got him a bunch of cheeseburgers from McDonald's. That was pretty much his diet. He was lethargic, and he couldn't jump up on the bed. He was very tired. And he tried so hard to stay playful, but it wasn't. It was really hard for him. And it was hard for us too, because he would have moments where he was doing okay, where he seemed to be all right, where he could get his front paws up on the sofa, and then we would come back behind him and help him get the rest of him up there. And then he would have days where he couldn't do any of it at all. So it was hard on us. It was like, well, what do we do here? What do we do for him? So we ultimately made the decision to help him cross the bridge on December 31st. And we made him, he had a best last day. So we drove him up to our vet. And that was the hardest, most ridiculous, obnoxious drive ever. But to help him pass with people who knew him, people who loved him, that felt important. And we were with him. We were with him through the whole process, and that hurt and that sucked a lot. And New Year's Eve will always be tinged a little bit for me, because we said goodbye. I miss him so much. I miss him so much. But he didn't suffer. He wasn't in a really, really bad way. He was sick, but he wasn't in distress, and so I have to try to take comfort in that. and we gave him the best life we could. So, yeah. Yeah, that was pretty hard. It's gonna be pretty hard watching back some of my old videos that he made an appearance in, but I'm not gonna take them down. The trailer for my channel includes a clip from him, and I'm not changing it. My little image here on YouTube has him in it, and I'm not changing it. I'm not changing it. He was our boy, and we were lucky to have him. So my brother, when we were going through this whole process, we were talking about having some big canvas prints done of some of our favorite pictures of Thor, and I think we're still going to do that. But my brother had this done for us. Have you guys seen those ads for Paint Your Life on Facebook or whatnot? This is Paint Your Life, and they take one of your pictures and they paint it. So it's paint. So there's my boy. His ashes are home too. They are they're up on the mantle in our den. So we have him. He's home. And I miss him big time. Oh gosh. So yeah, that was how we concluded 2020. Put that year in the garbage. It's tough for me to say that because, like, I was basically pregnant for all of 2020, and that was something that I have been after for quite a few years now, and so I can't say that the whole year was garbage, but there was certainly some garbage to it for sure. And then less than 2 weeks later, baby girl was here. So let me go get her. Let me get cleaned up, and I'll go get her, and I will introduce you to baby girl. And here she is. This is Baby Does Stuff. Couple of things. I am not going to be sharing her name on the channel, and I'm not sharing her name on Instagram. There are a few of you who do know her name, and I just ask that you keep that to yourself. I'd like for her to have some internet anonymity. I mean, obviously not entirely because I'm showing her here and on Instagram, but I'd like her to have some of that, at least, until she decides what to do with it. So yeah, here she is. Here's our girl. So let me tell you the story of getting her here. On January 12th, I had a scan. Because I had gestational diabetes, I was having weekly anatomy scans, so I was getting ultrasounds every week, especially there at that point. I was 38 weeks on that day. And under normal circumstances, that would mean more pictures, but this little lady right here was super duper stubborn, and she wouldn't show her face in most of our scans. She was hiding behind her hands and her feet. She was breech, so I had a scheduled C-section for the 21st, for January 21st. They offered an external cephalic version, which is where they manually try to push her and move her back down, but I don't think the benefits outweigh the risks for that, so we just decided we'll just do a scheduled C-section. So I go in on the 12th for my scan. And my whole pregnancy, they didn't like my blood pressure. Not my OB, not maternal fetal medicine. Nobody liked my blood pressure. It was high the whole time. But go figure, I was pregnant during 2020, and all of the stuff that we were dealing with, like, it's no wonder that my blood pressure was a mess the whole time. So we go in for the scan. Baby girl here does exactly as she did. She was hiding. They said, we're going to have the doctor come in and talk to you, so just hang out for a minute. Okay. Doctor comes in and she says, listen, I really don't like your blood pressure. It's pretty high. Yeah, it was. And so she said, you need to go to the hospital and have some blood pressure monitoring. Just to keep an eye on it, see what it does today. Part of it could be white coat anxiety, kind of a thing. So just, head over there and have that done. So we go over there and they gown me and get me hooked up to fetal monitors and blood pressure monitors and whatnot. And I'm there for about an hour, maybe. And the nurse comes in and she goes, listen, we're going to have your C-section today. Are you ready to have your baby today? And everything in me was like, no, no, I am not ready today. I have 9 more days. I am not ready today. We didn't have the car seat in the car. We didn't have a bassinet yet. Like, we were not prepared. We were not prepared. Everything was going to happen that week and that weekend. We were going to be fully prepared because the following Thursday was our scheduled C-section. On top of it, that scheduled C-section was with the doctor that I really liked at my OB. So I was like, no, I'm really not ready today. And she said, okay, well, let me tell you what's going to happen here. Yeah. If you leave, then you're going to have to sign AMA. Otherwise, yeah. Otherwise, you're staying until you have the baby. And I said, okay, well, I guess we're having the baby today. Yeah. So Danny left, and I was in the hospital all by my little lonesome for a while. They never induced me. They never induced labor because she was breech. So, yeah. Yeah. And then, so Danny went home. She really likes looking at herself. So Danny went home and got some things organized. My sister-in-law became the hero of the day, the week, the month, the year. And she came and built all of our stuff. We had a swing that she put together. She put together our pack and play. She bought a bassinet and got that prepped. Like, she helped Danny put the car seat in. Like, she saved our lives that day. And at around 5 o'clock that afternoon, they took me back. After Danny got back, he got his scrubs on. And they took me back. At 5:26, they put in the spinal, and at 5:52, she was here. It was just a whirlwind of a day. It went so fast. I spent a lot of time in the hospital by myself that day, but then I think back, and it was over in a blink. It was so crazy how fast it was. And she was here. And we were in the hospital for a few days. She lost quite a bit of weight, which is normal. It's very normal, especially for C-section babies, to lose quite a bit of weight. So birth weight, she was 7 pounds 3 ounces, and by the time we left the hospital, she was 6 pounds 11 ounces. The hospital didn't like that too much, but we did what we had to do, got her back up to birth weight, and it feels like a lifetime ago, and it also feels like it was just yesterday. Time is a construct for which I am not attached any longer. I am not attached to that construct. So here we are. Baby girl is she is 3.5 months old. She'll be 16 weeks on Tuesday. And she has her 4-month checkup in the middle of May. And we'll get her weight. She was 10 pounds 11 ounces at her last checkup, which was on St. Patty's Day, March 17th. So I'm expecting her to be closer to 13 pounds by then. She's chunking up. Yes, she is. Yes, she is, our girl. And she's been phenomenal. She's a really, really good baby. Yeah. Just happy to have her here. There are still times where I'm like, bless you. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, baby girl. There are still times where I'm shocked. Like, this is my life. This is, yeah. She's trying to giggle, but it's almost like her vocal cords don't know how to do it, and so she kind of shocks her own system when she does it. So she gets that and then a cough when she's trying to giggle. Yeah. Can you smile for the people? Huh? You smile for everybody? Hi, baby girl. What you doing? What you doing? Oh, yes. There's my girl. Yeah. So that's getting her here. And I guess that's all I really have to say about that. It's been quite a ride these last few months, huh? It's been quite a ride. So I think we're gonna probably end it off here. I just want to thank everybody so much for watching. Thank you for your continued support of me and my channel. We hope everybody's doing well. I hope that you're stitching. As always, be kind. I will see you in the next one. Say bye.